You're now tuned in to the Desire to Trade podcast, a show where we bring you the best figures of the trading world and teach you how you can become a successful trader. This is your host, Etienne Crete.
What's up guys, Etienne Crete here, Forex trader and founder of Desire to Trade. Today I'm coming up with an interview with Moritz Czubatinski. It's someone who has had a big impact in the Forex industry recently, through his blog, Tradeciety, which you probably went through, as well as Edgewonk, a system he's developing for trading journals. What I like the most about Moritz is the fact that he's been able to travel while trading. So we focus the interview a little bit on that. And we also talk about trading journal, how to make sure you have the perfect journal, and how you make sure you track the right things in your journal. Moritz is working really hard to make the most out of his life and to make sure he's setting up his future for success. There's a lot of keys in this interview and I hope you like it. If you want to connect with me after the show, check out the Facebook group at desiretotradecom/group and I'll be there to connect with you. Alright, so today I'm sitting on this call with Moritz Czubatinski. It's a Forex trader, a futures trader as well, living in Hong Kong right now. He's a former professional poker player. He's going to talk about everything he's doing these days and all the good stuff he's been putting out there. So what's up, Moritz? How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's really a pleasure to have you here. And I think you're a little bit in advance on me, so you're kind of in the future in Hong Kong. So how is everything going this morning?
Oh, well, I had a really bad sleep last night because we had this crazy mega boom and people here, they went out on the street and taking pictures and it was just like they were making one mess out there. So I wasn't sleeping very well, but I had my coffee, so now I'm better.
Nice stuff. So we always ask the guests in the podcast, what is one quote that inspires you?
I would have to say that my favorite quote of all times is definitely motivation comes from doing. Because most people get that wrong, they think they first need to get motivated somehow so they can start doing something. But in my experience, if you just start doing something, like when you go jogging, you just take the first 10 steps and then the motivation will come, just start doing it, the results will follow. That's, I think, the most important quote I've ever read. And whenever I don't want to do something, I just remind myself of that quote and I start doing it, and 5 minutes later I'm 100% focused on the task.
Love that. I think that applies a lot to sport, right?
Yes. The Nike slogan, just do it.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot more to it than people might think at first. Yeah.
Cool. So I know you're doing quite a lot these days, right? So you trade, you travel, you do stuff in Hong Kong, and you're also running two sites, right? Tradeciety as well as Edgewonk.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit what you're doing these days.
All right. So yeah, I've been traveling a lot in the past years after quitting my job finally and becoming a full-time trader. And after doing all the traveling, then I somehow managed to move to Hong Kong. And I've always been a huge fan of Jackie Chan as a kid, and those old blood operas, Hong Kong blood operas with John Woo and Chow Yun-fat and so on. So it was like a dream when I came to Hong Kong, and now I'm stuck here for the last year, and I'm probably not moving anywhere else. So I'm quite happy about that. And so now I'm trading full-time futures day trading and Forex swing trading mostly. And I'm also running Edgewonk.com, which is a professional trading journal, and Tradeciety.com, which is a community for traders where we teach people kind of the ropes. We also have a chat room there with around 1,000 people now. So quite happy about that. It's been running for 2 years now, actually. And right now we are hitting hockey stick growth. So we are really impressed by the numbers at the moment of people that visit us. We're very pleased here.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed too by everything on that side. It's just amazing.
Thanks.
So tell us a little bit about how you're trading these days and what kind of trading you do.
All right. So yeah, my main trading style is day trading the futures. I use tick charts. Maybe a short explanation. In futures, you have a very transparent market as opposed to Forex. Like, when a trade is coming into the exchange and with what volume that trade came into the exchange. So tick charts are based on that. Whenever a certain number of trades came into the exchange, a new bar will be printed. So in times of high volatility, I get a lot of bars printed on my chart, and I have to do a lot of clicking. And in times of low trading activity, like during the Asian session, for example, there will be not so many bars printed. And then it will be much easier for me because I'm a trend follower and I trade mostly 1, 2, 3s and turtle soup setups with the trend. So mostly based on price action. I also use indicators for confirmation, but only for confirmation. And yeah, I don't use take profits. I get out with the price action and I use very tight stops. So my win rate is a little bit on the lower side as it is for probably most trend traders, but my risk reward ratio is quite good. So I'm happy with that. And for Forex, I do mostly swing trading. So again, quite a low win rate, but a very nice risk reward ratio.
Pretty interesting. And I guess the question people have right now is, how did you start to trade? And how did you transition to trading full-time and leaving your job? Because I know there's a lot of people probably listening to this who want to leave their job as soon as possible. But it's kind of a hard process, right? You have to go through different steps. So how was that
Yes,
for you?
it is. A lot of sleepless nights. I was a professional poker player before, as you said, and I already had a lot of skills from that time, like money management, psychology, and so on. So I didn't need to really delve into that. The only thing I really needed to do was to find a strategy that worked for me. And that still took quite a long time, but I think my way in trading was much easier due to me being a poker player before. And I was a poker player until Black Friday, when the DOJ seized a lot of bankrolls of players for some allegations of money laundering and stuff like that. And I lost most of my bankroll back then. I got it back eventually, but that was pretty much my poker career done. And then I got a job, I had to, in Beijing, in China, after graduating from university. And while I was in that job, I quickly noticed that being stuck in a cubicle is not really my life.
It's terrible.
Yes, I mean, that's not what I want. And now at least I can say I tried, to have a job at least once in my life. It didn't really work out. And then when I was in poker, I had some buddies which already were transitioning to trading. And back then, I didn't really see the need because I was doing well. Yeah, but after that happened with the Black Friday, I quickly realized that basically the whole poker industry is run by the mafia. So I wanted to switch to a more regulated industry, a little bit more security, where I know how to pay my taxes and so on, all that stuff. So yeah, I was looking for other things, and then I got interested by trading. And of course, as everyone at first, I was like, wow, you can get leverage of 200 to 1. That's insane. Like, I'm going to be a millionaire in 2 weeks. And then, of course, quickly reality hit me in the face. Yeah, that's just, I think, the story of most people that go
Yeah, it's
into
just how
this.
it goes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I just, every free minute in the office, I used I came home from work after 10 hours, and in the evening, I would only improve my trading and trade the New York session, which started just after I came home in Beijing. And I found a mentor, which is very important, I think, someone you can trust, because it will boost your trade and your learning process a lot. And I found a community, like my old poker buddies. We were working together on strategies. And then slowly, I put together something of a trading plan, which kind of appealed to my personality, but it was still more of in its baby shoes. I mean, it has been changed a lot since then. And then after 2 years, my parents visited me in Beijing for Christmas, and I told them, I was playing poker before, and I'm sorry I tried, but this is not for me. I'm going trading full time now. Like I'm taking all my money, put it into my trading account, and I will start traveling through Asia, and that's how it is. And then I thought they would declare me for crazy, but they said, like, okay, at first they were surprised, of course, because I had quite a good job actually with some career options. But well, after a week or so, my dad called me and said, son, me and my mother talked, and we want to give you some money to make it easier for you, and they almost doubled my bankroll. And suddenly I was more than appropriately capitalized for doing this thing full time. And that was awesome. And then I just did it, I quit. At the time I was a break-even trader, but I figured if I put all my time into it, like 12 hours a day, it would take me a year or two maybe to become profitable. It didn't take that long, actually. It took me 3 or 6 months after I quit my job to reach consistent profitability. And yeah, my savings, they took quite a dent in the beginning. But after 6 months or so, everything started to look rosy, and I never looked back. Yeah.
But that's a follow-up question, because I guess at that time you had some pressure to perform, right? So was that hard? Because then you have like no income. You have to produce some money with the money you have.
Yes. I mean, at the same time, Rolf, my business partner, we were starting Edgewonk because it was always clear to me I do not want to live relying on my trading income. I want to use trading to become rich, to have a good life, but I don't want to rely on trading for my living expenses because that puts a lot of pressure on you. So it was always clear to me that I would build at least 2 or 3 income streams on the side, which would cover all my living expenses. So I could focus 100% on performing in Forex or in trading. Yeah.
I think that's a major point. I think some people don't like hearing that, but I think it's a major point that people have to realize.
I think so, yes. Yeah. I mean, in this industry, there are a lot of career options. You can trade other people's money as well, for example. I mean, that's what all the fund managers do, They take 10% management fee of their 2 million or 2% of all the money they manage, and then that's what they cover their living expenses with, so to speak. And then everything else is just about performing, I think it takes off a lot of pressure if you don't need to live from your trading money.
For sure. No, I love that. And what do you think were the things you had to put in place for you to become profitable in trading? Because I know you're a big fan of sports and having a healthy body and stuff like that. So was that a big part of your success, you think?
Definitely. I mean, it was always a big factor in my whole life. Also, when I was playing poker, when I had a bad session, or it just helps you keep a clear mind. Like I'm a huge fan of martial arts. I've been doing it my whole life, and well, props to Conor McGregor who won this Sunday. It was fucking awesome fight. It was amazing. Yeah, that's definitely a big factor. I think a healthy body makes it much easier for you to stay focused, especially for day traders, I think, because you have to stay focused for long periods of time, and if your body doesn't comply, your brain will not work at full capacity. So that's a huge factor, definitely. Healthy nutrition, of course, as well. Like before a session, I don't really eat heavy food, deep fried food or so. And also what is really important for your daily performance is a good sleep, definitely. Yeah. I mean, if you want to have an edge in this game, then everything you do will impact. And there are some factors you can control, and that is taking care of yourself and your body, and that will make a huge difference in your bottom line.
For sure. So people around the world have different ways of seeing a healthy body. So what does that mean for you? Is it only eating, or is it exercising, and what type of stuff do you do?
Well, usually when I wake up in the morning, I go for a 5K run. And because I'm on the road most of the time, I do body weight exercises, like 1 hour per day. Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of, running and cardio exercises. Yeah, I think that's most important. I mean, if you want to do strength exercises and look like the Hulk, that's up to you, but I don't really think that's healthy body. I mean, you need body strength. That's why I do body strength, body weight exercises. But I think everything that has to do with weights is already too much, Yeah, because have you ever seen an animal go to the gym and lift weights? I
No,
just
never.
think, yeah, exactly. You don't really need that to have a healthy body. Yeah, everything you have to do, you can do with your own body weight. Yeah.
Cool. So what about reminding the principle of healthy eating to people listening now? Are there any things you eat or don't eat that are helping you at all?
I'm a huge fan of this diet called SIRT diet, SIRT. I've been doing it for years now. And that's a diet which is focused on giving you enough calories. Like it's not about caloric restriction, but they administer you foods that have this chemical inside called a sirtuin. And that one will boost your muscle growth and at the same time increase your fat burning rate. And there's like walnuts, red wine, chocolate. It sounds kind of good.
Yeah.
Uh,
So far, yeah, for sure.
and yeah, I got interested in that because of Conor McGregor, because he was saying that he swears on his diet for years. Yeah, and that's why I've been doing it, and I feel awesome with it. I'm really happy with it. It's the best diet I've ever tried, and it's also kind of low carb because, to be honest, after eating a lot of carbohydrates, I start to get clumsy and sleepy. So yeah, I try not to eat too much of that either.
How's that though when you travel in Asia? Because I guess there's a lot of rice and noodles
Yeah,
and stuff. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, most of the time I just order vegetables, vegetable dishes like cooked vegetables, or I mean, most of the meat is fried. So it's kind of annoying sometimes, but it's definitely, I think, I would say easier to stick to the diet here in Asia than in Europe, because in Europe almost everything is with carbs, unless you want to eat a Caesar salad or so.
cool. So the next topic I want to definitely talk about is journaling because you're a big fan of that. So
Mm-hmm.
tell us a little bit because you run a site that's all about journaling, right? So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about what's essential for a trading journal.
All right. So the most important thing becoming a profitable trader for me was definitely a journal, because as a trader you are, put it this way, you need a quality assurance. Your trades are your product, and your journal is your QA. So because you need a feedback, if you only look at the statement at the end of the day and you see, okay, I won money or I lost money, that's not worth a lot, right? And I also believe that there's really no learning by doing in trading. I mean, I've said this before, but this is just so true, because who can remember the trades he took yesterday or the week before? Most people, they open the trades, close the trades, forget about them, move on to the next trades. There's no learning effect. They're just doing the same mistakes over and over and over again, because they have no feedback loop. Like, they simply have no one to tell them, idiot, what the hell are you doing here? Like, we are doing the same mistake like yesterday again,
Hmm.
and you don't even notice it. And a journal can really help you dig into that and tweak your strategy step by step to make it a profitable one. Because for most people, it's really the small things that make a huge difference in their bottom line. Because if you repeat a mistake again and again and again, which can be corrected quite easily, then yeah, well, I really don't feel sorry for you, because that's just laziness and nothing else. What should be in a trading journal at first is, of course, the standard numbers: win rate, risk reward ratio, and risk applied. And those are the three numbers by which I can assess the performance of any strategy. If you tell me these three numbers, I can run simulations in my head or in the computer, and I can tell you very quickly whether your strategy is performing nicely, or if you have a lot of volatility. I can quickly tell you the psychological cons and pros of that strategy, and so on. You know, and so I can quickly find out what kind of personality you are as a trader, or would be beneficial for you as a trader. And then what is even more important, after you track these three things in your journal, is that you track alternative outcomes in your journal. All right? Because most people have this problem with system hopping. And they always second guessing, like, what if I had taken this approach? So you have to start tracking in your journal different take profit strategies, for example. Like every time you take a trade, you say, okay, in reality, I exited at this point. But what would have happened if I had exited at this point in all of my trades?
And I feel like
following
that's really
this strategy.
tricky to do, right? If you're going to do it manually.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Like you definitely need a professional journal, like Edgewonk, for example, for that. And then if you do that, you can, after, let's say, 50 trades, you can take a look at it and then very quickly find out which approach would be more profitable eventually. And what is also very important to track is your trade management. Most people, 100%, it would be more profitable for them if they just stopped interfering with their trades, Put on a take profit, put on a stop loss, let it run. For most people, the trade management is losing their money, but they don't know because they don't have a way to track it. So you also have to let your journal know whether your trade management is making or costing you money, and then that can be very easily fixed. If it's making you money, okay, good, but keep tracking it because that could change very quickly, because trade management for most people is a very tricky thing to do, because the last objective moment is the moment before you enter a trade, to be honest. And if you see through the journal that you are losing money through trade management, then you just stop it. You just trade set and forget approach, and wow, suddenly your performance improved a lot through one simple tweak. I think that's the most important thing to track in your journal. Yes.
Yeah,
And then there are many other things you can track to increase the performance of your strategy, but these will make the biggest difference in your bottom line for sure.
what does your review process look like as a trader? Because I know a lot of people who are trading and they've been trading for a long time, but either they don't review at all, or they're just going to review and go ahead and don't take any action from that.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you have to decide on is a sample size. On which sample size are you going to act and make adjustments to your strategy? So for me, that is 50 trades. So every 50 trades, which is roughly, for my day trading strategy, it's like every 10 trading days. So I take around 5 trades per day. So yeah, every 2 weeks, I review performance of my last 50 trades and compare that to the 50 trades just before that, And then I take those 50 trades and compare it to my overall performance of all the trades I ever took with that strategy. So then I can quickly see whether I am inside standard deviation or whether something horrible happened. Like if I'm above standard deviation of my previous performance, then I know, okay, you are in an upswing right now. You're experiencing positive variance, Don't freak out. Just keep trading as always. And yeah, if I'm in a downswing and I hit the bottom line of the standard deviation, then if I'm still inside the standard deviation and I'm in a rough patch, then I can say, well, I'm still inside the normal statistical behavior, so don't sweat it, just keep doing what you're doing. And as soon as I go outside of these boundaries, then I have to check, what the hell did I do and what the hell did the market do? Okay, so how well did I apply my strategy? How well did my strategy apply to the market? That's how to stay objective.
It's kind of whose fault is it, right? Is it yours or the market?
Exactly, yes. And most of the time, well, let's say 99% of the time, it's my fault. I've never experienced a phase of 50 trades where I would say the market was being a complete dick. It was just me being an idiot. Yeah. That's the truth most of the time. Yeah. So I do that, and of course in the morning, because I trade the night session. For me, I trade at night. So in the morning, first thing I do when I wake up is I put my trades into my journal. I do a quick review. I assess whether I did something very, very stupid or something very, very awesome. And if I find anything there, I will, like any outliers, I will print it out and put it into a folder. I have 2 folders actually. One is called awesomeness and one is called idiocy. And then I can always look at my biggest mistakes and my biggest victories, and which I do before every session. Before the session, I only look at my biggest victories, like the AAA trades, because that's what I'm looking for, and then that gets me fired up. Yeah. Then I know exactly what I'm looking for when I see that pattern over and over and over again. Like I look at 20 trades before I start my session, and they all look the same. Yeah, because the hallmark of a great trader is how similar his trades look. And when I look at 20 similar trades in a minute or so, then before I trade the session, I know exactly what I'm looking for, and that makes it a lot easier. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I think I just realized that the weeks where, because I do a lot of like monthly reviews, so at the end of the month, I'll look at my trades and everything. And I think the weeks where I do that monthly review and I look at all my good trades, I think the week after I probably perform better. But I didn't like think about it before, so it's pretty cool. I think I'll do it every day from now on. Great.
We should.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the next question I have is, how the hell do you manage your time? Because you do a lot. Like you do your site, you do Edgewonk. So like, how do you manage all of this with trading?
Yeah, it's tough sometimes. I mean, I don't have a lot of free time these days, which is okay. I'm only 29 now, and I think I'm building the foundation now. I'm building my equity, and maybe with 40, I can lean back a little bit and enjoy life. I mean, right now, I have to be honest, I love my life. I love what I'm doing. I love my work. But the lifestyle I'm having right now is I don't get a lot of sunlight except for on the weekend because my girlfriend drags me out. And most of the time I'm stuck in front of the screen. Nevertheless, I love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So how I manage my time is I try to get up as early as I can, even though I'm not an early riser. But thanks to coffee, it makes it easier. And I sleep maybe 5 hours per night. Yeah, because I trade from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. usually. And after that, I go to bed and I get up at 8. And usually after trading, I can't fall asleep immediately because my brain is still on high speed. It takes some time to calm down. And usually I read for an hour or so. So yeah, 4 to 5 hours per night. And then I try to get that back on the weekend. Or sometimes I only trade half a session because at 12 a.m. I notice, wow, you're completely powered out. There's not much going on there. And yeah, I try to get in 90 minutes of sport per day, and the rest is all invested into Edgewonk and Tradeciety. Now my routine is getting better, I have to say. Like the more articles I write, the more videos I produce, the easier it gets and faster I can do that. So now I actually even have some free time to play PlayStation sometime, which makes me a very happy camper. Yeah.
And how did you find traveling and trading at the same time? Is it tough, or do you have to kind of adjust your schedule? Because I guess when you're on a plane, you cannot trade, right? So it's kind of harder a little bit.
Yeah, I used to take off all my trades before I went on a plane because, you never know, maybe it crashes and then you can't take off your trades. So And the biggest problem as a traveler is the internet. Because especially in Southeast Asia, yes, you have Wi-Fi everywhere, but is it stable? Is it fast? Most of the time it's not. So you need to get a internet stick, and sometimes language barriers. How the hell do you get an internet stick in the 7-Eleven where everyone speaks Japanese?
Yeah.
And so on. So yeah, then that was the biggest problem. So after a time, I switched from hotels to Airbnb because then I could communicate with the people before. Because hotels, they have like one router for the whole floor, and then wow, nice, I got 3 kilobytes per second downstream. Awesome. If you switch to Airbnb, you can contact the host before and tell him like, yo, I need this to do my job. Can you please tell me how fast your internet is? And then most of the time that works out pretty well. Yeah. And then usually I do sightseeing in the morning, and in the evening I would go back to trading. So that worked out pretty well actually. And for my swing trading, I simply had my MacBook always with me in my backpack. And whenever, because I'm trading the 4 hours and daily, so every 4 hours I had to look for a coffee shop quickly and check on my trades. But that worked out pretty well actually.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And how's the Chinese internet? Did you have some trouble, or was it pretty good? Or
It was actually quite okay. I mean, apart from the Chinese firewall, which sometimes makes things a lot slower and hindering your research capabilities because they block Google. The Chinese search engine Baidu is not very good, to be honest. But apart from that, no problem at all. Even online poker was running very smoothly.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I'll have to go back to this in a few months. So I was just asking because, I've had some trouble with that in the past. So
It's getting better, actually. Yes, it's really getting better.
Cool. So anything you would like to mention to the audience, or anything you want to just pass out as a message now that people need to hear?
I would say, my favorite quote again, motivation comes from doing. So if you have a trouble working on your strategy, if you have trouble keeping a journal, just start and the results will follow, And even if it seems such an overwhelming task sometimes, trading, because there are millions of markets, you can trade 24/7, millions of strategies out there, and you can get completely lost in a rabbit hole there, Just start working somewhere. Start your trading plan today. If you don't have one now, just start working on it. And it doesn't have to be, don't be a perfectionist, because that will get to you. You will, as long as you try to be a perfectionist in trading, you will lose money. So just start working on your trading plan now. Get a trading journal, start working on that, and then just build on that foundation. But you have to start today, because if you don't, you will always be stuck in the loser cycle, which is find a system, trade it for a bit, lose money, switch to another system. And that's not going to work. And apart from that, you absolutely have to find a system that works for your personality. So you have to ask yourself, what do you want from trading? Do you want to sit in front of a screen for the whole day? And are you going to be happy with that? Do you really want to be a day trader? Are you okay with having trades run overnight? Are you going to be able to sleep? Then, okay, become a swing trader. And what kind of lifestyle do you want? In which direction do you want to go in this industry? Do you want to be a writer, a technical analyst? Do you want to trade your own money? Do you want to go into a prop firm? So really ask yourself, what do you want from this? Because it's a job after all, and everyone going into a profession has a career plan. At least everyone who ever was sane at one point in his life. And if you go into trading, ask yourself, what do you want from this industry? Adapt your trading strategy accordingly, get a trading plan, get a trading journal, and get to work today. And you will do just fine.
Love that. So how can people find you?
On Twitter, it's twitter.com/TradeCietyMC. You can write me emails. I will gladly answer to Moritz at Tradeciety.com. And you can also find me on Tradeciety.com and Edgewonk.com. My emails are all over the place. And if you need anything, I'm always happy to help out, because I've been there and I had a mentor. And I mean, I don't have time to mentor every single one of you guys, but if you have a question, just come to me and I will gladly help you out.
After that. So we'll make sure to put all the links in the show note on desiretotrade.com if you want to find all the links we talked about.
Yes.
And we'll put that diet, because I'm pretty curious about that. I'll do some research and put that in there. So desiretotrade.com. And Moritz, what kind of goal do you have for the future?
Well, I'm pretty sure I want to have a family at one point. So I'm 29 now, but I'm getting there. So that will probably be my next big change in my life. And for Tradeciety, I can only say I want to grow it as big as possible and help as many traders as possible. And for myself, I like to define goals as processes. So I just want to have a active, happy life, and I want to be the best trader I can. I'm pretty sure I will never be the best trader this planet has ever seen, but I will have a very good life if I just keep doing what I'm doing. And I want to make my parents proud, and I think they will be proud if I'm happy, so that's cool.
For sure. And what's your main motivation behind doing all this?
It sounds very cliche, but freedom.
Mm-hmm. It's
it
a
is
big
freedom,
one.
freedom. Yeah, freedom of choice, freedom of what I do with my life, what I do with my time. I've always had troubles with authority, people telling me what to do. That's a big bummer. Yeah, I just want to be able, to live life the way that I envision it. And I want to stand up in the morning, look into the mirror and say to myself, hey, that's you. Cool, man. Keep on doing what you're doing. I don't want to get up in the morning and be like, shit, now I have to go to the office and do that and that and that. And I can't look forward to getting out of there, It's very simple, If you're happy in your life, keep doing what you're doing. If you're not, change what you're doing.
Yeah, well said. And Moritz, we have a question we always ask the guests on the podcast. One last question, which is, if you could give only one piece of advice for traders, what would that one piece of advice be?
One piece of advice. That's a tough one, but I'm predisposed. But I would say get a trading journal.
Oh, I love it.
Seriously. I mean, I've never seen a profitable trader without a trading journal. And keep it, be thorough about it and use it to improve your strategy. Yeah. I mean, that will be easily what makes the biggest difference in your bottom line if you get a trading journal and really stick to it. Be honest with yourself.
Yeah, and I think whatever piece of journal you can have, it's already better than nothing, right?
Sure. That's true.
Even if it's going to be paper or anything like that, it's going to be better than nothing for sure.
Yes. Anything will be better. Even Jesse Livermore, I think he wrote in his book, he had that something he called a playbook, where he wrote down on a small notepad all the trades he took. Yeah, I mean, even one of the greatest traders of all times, even that guy had a trading journal. Yeah, so there you have it.
Powerful. Moritz, thanks so much for being on a podcast. It's been such a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
For all listeners, I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Desire to Trade podcast. To get all the information on this show, free articles, and unique resources, make sure to check out www.desiretotrade.com and subscribe. Please leave us a review and let us know what you thought about the show. It's time to become the best trader you can be. See you next time.